Okay, guys. So yesterday we had discussed about hybrid framework. Okay. So let's revise that one. Hybrid framework. So in SRC test Java, what are the changes that we did? Let's come to that point. So we discussed the step one. Along with WebDriver object, we imported report in the reporter class files, image attachment and reporter one. So these are the two objects we have created. And whatever name that we are giving, with that name, what document will be created. So that is the declaration part I did in the first step. And coming to second step, one second. Which project okay. So coming to second step. So we are passing the driver object and reporter one object and image attachment objects along these page class files. Okay. So here, see here, what I am doing is in this test class file, there is @ before test and @test and @after test. Okay. Now, first let me run the program and after that we will discuss about that. So I'm going to run this test case. Okay, one second. Not this one. Which project I discussed yesterday? Yesterday it's worked actually. So the program is executing and Java 10 and Java 10 description skills record got created. Okay. And let's go to the program. So this is got executed. Okay. I want to know where my test evidence got generated. I told you yesterday concept 87 and 88. These two lines saves the Word document. So let's click on this ia.word output file. I'm clicking on this method. So in my C drive HTML reports, Word document folder is there. Okay. In my C drive, HTML report folder, Word documents folder. Under this one, so just now what is today's date? 21. So this is the name. With this name, it is got generated my Word document. Okay, let's open this Word document. See the test case name and whatever login page and skills page. So the relevant snapshots I have written, and so those snapshots got generated automatically. So now let's understand how this is working. So the Word document name, okay, let's go to the. So if you go to the, okay, TC01 skills. So whatever name TC01 add skills underscore, that timestamp is appending, and with that name only the Word document is getting generated. So every time when I want to execute my script, automatically a new Word document will be created with the timestamp. So that's the reason I have taken timestamp. If there is TC01 add skills, just if I will give test name is equal to TC01 add skills, that's it. Every time that same Word document will be overrated. So we cannot get the previous one, correct? So if you want to know the previous one, you have to do like that. So the timestamp I had appended. And all this data, Excel data, we are fetching the data. And along with the, so in step 2, so IA object and IA1 is related to Word document, and R1 is related to test ng emailable report. Still we haven't checked test ng emailable report. I will show you. And along with the WebDriver object, we are passing R1 and IA1, and this is the change we did. So if you go to R1 and IA1, what is the change we did? So along with the WebDriver object, we declared R1 and IA1, and we are giving the access back to current class objects. Okay. And to take the snapshots part, wherever I want to take the snapshot, I had written these lines. These lines only it's generating snapshots part. Okay. So total how many snapshots it has to generate? 1, 2. Login page it has to capture 2. Okay. In login page 2 snapshots. And in skill space, okay, let's come back to the skill space. So skill space it contains, this is the one. So total 3 snapshots has to generate. Okay, let's check that one. How many snapshots? Okay. So where is my Excel? Okay, 1 second, guys. So this is my Excel. So just now I have created Java 10, and let's give Java 100 description values. And I'm saving. So I'm going to run this program again. So total 3 snapshots it has to capture as per my page class files. So to generate Word document in the required folder, suppose if I want to generate my Word documents in somewhere else, so go to C drive. Okay, so instead of here, you can specify some other folder. Okay, directly if you want to specify in my system. Okay, let me check where is my path. Okay, I have only C drive. So in my C drive, if I want to create, so I mentioned in C drive under Word documents folder, it has to create. Okay, let's go to C drive and let's create a folder name Word documents folder. Okay, so in this one my document will be created because I modified at this line. 1 second, what it is the error it is showing? Oh, image attachment document 1 having some errors actually. Okay, let's run the program. What it is, I will fix those things. Okay. So it's got executed. So if you go to C drive under Word documents folder, this document got created. So 1, 2. So why it is generating only 2? Login page credentials entered. Login page credentials entered. Skills open orange HRM. Okay, let me check. Okay, I think only there are one login page. Okay. Open orange HRM method we are not calling actually here. You understood, right? Because this method itself we are not calling in my main test case. Because I already opened. Okay, let me delete this one. It's getting confused actually. So I opened my application URL here itself. After that, I am calling only login method. So it's capturing two things on. So if I want to capture one more snapshot in skill space, okay. So where is that? So if you want to capture the snapshot after entering user skill, 1 second, wherever you want. So you understood, right? Why it is capturing only 2 snapshots? So like that. So these things having some errors. Why these having errors? I will look into that. Anyway, Word documents is generating. So if you join in any of the project, the main part is getting of Excel data things, how you are getting Excel data from an Excel file. And along with the WebDriver object, what are the reporting class files people are using? IA1 means it is related to image attachment document 1. So the Word document related things will be generated by using IA1. And R1 I haven't showed you. I'm going to show you about R1 as well. So along with the WebDriver object, I am passing R1 and IA1. IA1 is related to Word document snapshots, and R1 is related to TestNG emailable report. I will show you TestNG emailable report as well. So you have to know in the page class files, what are the changes that we are going to do. So those are the things only. So if you join in any of the projects, okay, how this method was written, okay, and how the log statements, these 2 lines we can call it as a log statements, how the people are writing log statements, what is the method name people are using. So in the log statements I'm passing driver object, and whatever comments, this is the comments are coming in my Word document, okay, and pass means the relevant snapshot is captured, okay. So whenever you are writing take screenshot auto method, so it's ia1.paste image, it's capturing all the Word document, okay. So these 2 lines we can call it as a reporting statements, okay. If you join in any of the project, how the reporting statements, log statements people are writing, that is the main point you need to keep attention. Same, these 2 lines or 3 lines you have to copy wherever you want to take the snapshots. Okay, so that is the main point you need to observe once you engaged in the project. Suppose somebody is giving KT handover to you. Okay, so anyway, Excel related data things you can understand because Excel file path and sheet name, and you are getting that in. So you need to ask whenever KT handovers is happening, you need to ask how the reporting is working and what are the log statements we are writing. Okay, in a page class file, how the log statements we are writing to capture the snapshots in the evidences. These things you need to ask. So in my project, you have to write these 2 lines to generate the Word documents. In your project, they will write some different lines of code. Okay, so if you join in any of the project, the main point is you need to understand what are the snapshots related lines of code. People are, we can call these things as a log statements. How the log statements are writing, you need to ask. This is the important thing you need to understand once you join any of the automation projects. Okay, and I'm not telling people will use these 2 statements only. Project to project, it will change 100%. Okay, and here I had given image attachment document 1 and reporter 1. So might be in your project, they will give some different names for this thing. Reporting util, they will give some names. So what are the changes that you need to understand one test case functional flow. Same thing you have to apply it for all other test cases development. Got it? So right. Now let's come back to the next one. So now let's come back to hybrid framework explanation. Guys, I'm going to share. So we had discussed about BDD Cucumber framework, how you need to tell in the interviews. So today is the last class for a hybrid framework. So how you have to tell hybrid framework in the interviews. Okay. So hybrid framework means in our project we are following hybrid framework. It is a combination of page object model design pattern, test engine framework, and a data driven framework. Test engine means we are using @test annotation type. Coming to page object model design pattern, for every web page or entity specific, we will write separate Java class file and corresponding methods will be implemented. And every page specific, we are declaring web elements. So in page factory model, you are declaring web elements, right? So same concept we have. In every page specific, we are declaring web elements and maintaining page specific object repository like that. And coming to the main test case of development, we are importing the page class files and we are creating object for every page class file and we are calling the required methods as per the test case functional flow. So like that, we are following page object model design pattern. People will ask what is POM. So POM means from here to here you have to explain. Can you please explain page object model design pattern? So coming to page object model design pattern, for every web page or entity specific, we will write separate Java class file and corresponding methods will be implemented. And coming to the main test case, we are importing the page class files and we are creating object and we are calling the required methods as per the test case functional flow. 1 second, guys, recording is going on. Okay. So everyone understood how to explain POM. Okay. So you have to explain about page object model design pattern and you have to explain about test engine framework and you have to talk about data driven framework. So I talked about POM. Let's come back to data driven. Coming to data driven framework, in the test engine class file, we will specify Excel file path and sheet name to retrieve the input data from the Excel file. Okay. And we are using Excel util Java class files, which contains Excel related methods to read or write data from the Excel. And we have developed these Excel util Java class files by using ORG Apache POI supporting Java class file libraries. So we developed by using Excel util Java class file libraries. You have to tell. Once after retrieving the input values from the Excel, we are storing all that input data in the collection objects like list, set, and map objects. Whatever data table object we have created, so we can call it as a list, set, map objects. And after that, we are passing those input data to the required test methods. Test methods ki manam passes. So that test methods will be executed with the required input values. Like that, we are following data-driven framework approach. So summary of this one is we are specifying Excel file path sheet name and we are retrieving input data. And with that data table object information, we are passing to method local variables. So like that, we are following data-driven framework. Next, after data-driven framework, you have to talk about what is the reporting you are following. Okay. We had used test engine emailable reports and extent reports. Okay. So you can use it. You can tell the whatever document it contains, you can explain this one. Nobody will ask about the reporting because reporting will be developed by some senior people. But you have to talk whenever you are explaining, you have to talk about page object model, data-driven and reporting, and finally test engine features. Okay. So we had used test engine emailable reports and extent reports. We had used com.eventstack third-party plugin to generate extent report.html. Now, what we used, what document it's generating, but we haven't used extent report.html. When you run the script, automatically a HTML document will be created. In that HTML document, it captures all the screenshots. That reporting is extent report.html. So that is so some people they will use extent reports. So that HTML for every test case, the related pass and fail screenshots will be generated in extent report.html. Okay. Once after executing test ng batch files, extent report.html report will be generated for every test case. In extend report.html, we are capturing actual results, screenshots, and passed and failed steps. After convert and covering the logs for every verification checkpoint and assertion results. Whatever information is there, just you can read out that content. That's it only. And we are uploading all these test evidences in the SharePoint as per the release specific folders, so that everyone can able to access the test reports from the SharePoint. So where you are uploading, people will ask all the test evidences. So we are having release specific folder in our SharePoint, there we are uploading. So like that, we used extend report.html in our project. So once after executing testng.xml batch files, for every test case, extend report.html will be generated. So how to prepare testng.xml batch file, we are going to see in the next classes. Okay. So up to this part, reporting part, you have to explain. And finally, testng features. Actually, by next week, we are targeting all these testng features. Okay. So the next means day after tomorrow on Monday class onwards, we are targeting completely. These are the testng features. But just I am walkthroughing what are the testng features. Coming to testng features, we had used different features like we can generate testng.xml batch file. We can execute as a batch file. So you created TC01 add skills, TC01 add nationality, TC01 add locations, multiple test cases. We can incorporate in an Excel batch file and we can execute that batch file so that all these 3 test cases will be executed at a time. We can integrate multiple test cases into one batch file. When you trigger that batch file, all test cases will be executed. How to prepare that batch file, we will see in next class. So by using testng, we can able to execute multiple batch files. So one batch file contains 10 test cases, another batch file contains 10 test cases. So we can do that one as well. And parallel test execution. So in a batch file, there are 5 test cases. In another batch file, it contains 10 test cases. So you want to execute 3 like that. So we can do parallel test execution of every batch file. Okay, it's not like that batch one file contains 10 test case. Let's execute all 10 at a time. So we are executing 3 like that. So we can call it as a parallel test execution. So TC1, TC2, TC3. Second iteration TC4, TC5, TC6. So how the parallel test execution that we will do, we will see in the next class. We can generate testng emailable report and we can monitor the execution progress. I will show you right now. Okay, we executed right just now. So just refresh this folder. Project folder you can refresh. Go to test output folder. There is a emailable report.html. Open with browser. See this one, it contains all the test execution evidences. Even extend report.html also it contains like this login page. So the related snapshot. So this one. Okay. So all this information was generated here. Okay. So something, whatever console errors are generated, it's capturing here. So it's not an issue. So all the TC01 add skills got passed all the steps. So it is showing. So when the snapshot was generated. So this is when it is got executed like that. Okay. So where we check this one under test output folder emailable report. Okay. So this report will be generated automatically in testng. So now let's go back to the documentation. So by using testng emailable, we can monitor the execution progress, all the test evidences. By using testng parameters, one of the concept testng parameter, based on the testng parameter configured, the script will be executed on Chrome, the script will be executed on Firefox, the scripts will be executed on Edge browser. So testng parameters which can support browser compatibility testing feature. Okay, based on parameter name you specified in the testng.xml. Testng.xml contains 10 test cases. I want to execute all these 10 test cases on Edge browser. Let's give Edge browser. So all 10 test cases will be executed on Edge browser. Let's give Chrome. All will be executed on Chrome. So that labs we will see. So testng parameters, it can be helpful while implementing browser compatibility testing. And there are so many annotation tags. So far, you know only @test, but there are almost 10 annotation tags are there. So from the interview point of view, it's very important. We can able to execute failed test cases only in the testng groups, testng priorities, listeners, data provider. So all these features we had used in our hybrid framework. So you have to go through all these things. Hybrid framework means it's a mixing of more than one feature. We are mixing phase object model design pattern. Phase object model design pattern completed, and reporting part also it's completed. Reporting part we had seen output report, test engine, emailable reports.
Sir,
So
latest report generate అవుతుంది sir.
huh?
Latest report సేమ్ ఉంటుంది కదా.
అర్థం కాలేదు.
అంటే ఒకసారి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసిన తర్వాత లేటెస్ట్ రిపోర్ట్ మాత్రమే టెస్ట్ ఎంజిన్ అవుట్పుట్ ఫైల్ లో ఉంటుంది.
అవునవును.
మిగతా అంటే పాతవి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసిన రిపోర్ట్స్
పాతవి రావాలి అంటే అక్కడ బ్యాచ్ ఫైల్ లో ఒక చేంజ్ చేయాలి. సో దట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి జనరేట్. సో వాట్ ఇస్ ద చేంజ్ అనేది నేను రేపటి క్లాస్ లో మీకు అర్థమైంది. So every time you want to generate in a new folder, what is the name change you have to do? I will show you. So we had to, so by using reporting part, reporting and once we execute batch files, HTML reports generated which can capture pass and fail screenshots. E line important. Okay, right. And we are uploading all these test evidences in SharePoint. In 3 points reporting. And coming to test engine features, and 15 points, 11 points. Once టెస్ట్ ఎంజీ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత చెప్పాలి. ఓకేనా? సో మనకి ఇప్పటిదాకా ఏమైందంటే పిఓఎం అయింది, డేటా డ్రివెన్ అయింది, రిపోర్టింగ్ పార్ట్ అయింది, బట్ వీ హ్యావెంట్ కంప్లీటెడ్ టెస్ట్ ఎంజీ ఫీచర్స్. సో టెస్ట్ ఎంజీ ఫీచర్స్ వీఆర్ టార్గెటింగ్ ఇన్ ద నెక్స్ట్ వీక్. వాట్ ద థింగ్? ఓకే, ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు అప్లోడ్ దిస్ ప్రాజెక్ట్, హైబ్రిడ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్. 1 second. హైబ్రిడ్ 4 అని పడుతుంది. సో మీరు మిగతా వాటికి టెస్ట్ కేసెస్ కి ట్రై చేయండి. నేను స్కిల్స్ చెప్పాను కదా, మీరు నేషనాలిటీస్, స్కిల్స్, జాబ్స్ వీటికి టెస్ట్ ఎవిడెన్సెస్ జనరేట్ చేయండి. ఓకేనా? సో మీరు ఏ ప్రాజెక్ట్ లోకి వెళ్ళినా, ఇఫ్ యూ గో టు ఎనీ ప్రాజెక్ట్, how the log statements are writing along with the WebDriver object, what are the other objects people are sending. In my project I used IA1 and reporter1. Reporter1 is related to test engine emailable report. IA1 is related to Word document. So in some project they may pass only single object only. So in my project when I execute the script, 2 reports got generated automatically because along with the WebDriver object I used 2 objects. So నేను ఒక్క ఆబ్జెక్టే పాస్ చేశానంటే దట్ మీన్స్ ఓన్లీ 1 రిపోర్ట్ విల్ బి జనరేట్. సో సంథింగ్ హైబ్రిడ్ 4. సో నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ టెస్ట్ ఎంజీ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్, ఇట్స్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఓకే, సో టుమారోస్ క్లాస్ 10 to 12 workshop is there. Okay, no class for tomorrow, so it's a completely workshop, almost around 100 members expecting in online, so everyone can join. So in that one we are covering what are the opportunities, testing opportunities, and how the guidance and everything I am covering in that. Okay, అవి ఎప్పుడు ఉంటాయి.
Tax కూడా ఆర్డర్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా ఫోర్స్ క్లాప్స్ అన్నటేషన్ ట్యాక్స్ ఆర్డర్ లో చెప్పాలి కదా.
అర్థం కాలేదు.
అన్నటేషన్ ట్యాక్స్
అవన్నీ నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ టాపిక్స్.
అప్పుడు ఆర్డర్ లో ఉండాలి కదా.
అవునవును. సో టెస్ట్ ఎంజీ అన్నిటికన్నా ఈజీ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్, చాలా డేట్ ఈజీ. మినీ సో ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఇంపోర్ట్ చేసుకుని అందరూ హైబ్రిడ్ 4 అనే ప్రాజెక్ట్, హైబ్రిడ్ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ ల్యాబ్ ఇది కంప్లీట్ చేసేసింది. టెస్ట్ ఎంజీ కంప్లీట్ కాల మనకి ఇంకా. అంటే హైబ్రిడ్ లో మనం పేజ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ మోడల్ చెప్పుకున్నాం. ఓకేనా, రిపోర్టింగ్ పార్ట్ చెప్పుకున్నాం, డేటా డ్రివెన్ చెప్పుకున్నాం. బట్ టెస్ట్ ఎంజీ ఫీచర్ జస్ట్ నేను డాక్యుమెంట్ లో ఉన్నది వాక్ త్రూ ఇచ్చాను, నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ లో కవర్ అవుతుంది.
టెస్ట్ ఎంజీ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ అంటే దాని సేమ్ డిఫరెంట్ ఉంటుంది అసలు, డిఫరెంట్ ఏమి ఉండదు కదా. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్స్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు పేజ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ మోడల్ ఒకటి పేజ్ ఫ్యాక్టరీ ఉన్నాయి కదా సార్, ఈ రెండు మెథడ్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా. ఇప్పుడు హైబ్రిడ్ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ కూడా చెప్పారు. డేటా
టెస్ట్ ఎంజిన్ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ అంటే ఏం లేదు. టెస్ట్ ఎంజిన్ డాట్ ఎక్స్ఎంఎల్ బ్యాచ్ ఫైల్ ఎలా ప్రిపేర్ చేస్తారు, మల్టిపుల్ టెస్ట్ కేసు ఎలా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తారు, కంపాటబిలిటీ టెస్టింగ్ ఎలా ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తాం, ఇవన్నీ డిస్కస్ చేస్తాం. ప్యారలల్ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ఎలా చేస్తాం, ఇవన్నీ టెస్ట్ ఎంజిన్ డాట్ ఎక్స్ఎంఎల్ బ్యాచ్ ఫైల్ లో మనం ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తాం. అది సో అంతా బ్యాచ్ ఫైల్ మీదే ఉంటుంది. Yes, so that we have completed hybrid framework and BDD Cucumber frameworks. Okay, so by next week onwards we are targeting completely test engine framework. Okay, so maximum inkoka 3 weeks lo automation labs anna ayipotayi. So by this weekend we have completed BDD 2 weeks complete ayindi, hybrid 1 week complete అయిపోయింది. So next week and inkoka 3 weeks lo mottham automation complete అయింది. ఇంకొకటి మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్, మనము మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ మీరు అటెండ్ అవుతున్నారు కదా ఎవ్రీవన్? ఓకే, మాన్యువల్ టెస్ట్ హూ ఎవర్ ఈజ్ అటెండ్. సో మాన్యువల్ టెస్టింగ్ బై నెక్స్ట్ ఫ్రైడే, నెక్స్ట్ సాటర్డే ఇట్ విల్ బి కంప్లీట్. ఓకే, సో అన్ని అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఇంటర్వ్యూ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో ఒక 10 or 15 క్వశ్చన్స్ మీకు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను, సో దట్ ఇట్ కెన్ బి హెల్ప్ఫుల్ ఇంటర్వ్యూస్లో మీరు ఎలా మాట్లాడాలి ఏంటి. ఓకేనా? ఇన్షూర్ టుమారో ఈజ్ జాయినింగ్ ఆన్ ద వర్క్ షాప్, సో ఇట్ కెన్ హెల్ప్ఫుల్ టు ఎవ్రీ. సో ఇంక ఇప్పటి నుండి మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే, 1 second ప్లీజ్.